It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies. It is all about the streaming again, as the movie theaters have now been closed for 9 weeks. The gestation period for dogs is 9 weeks. Yep, from the time the egg is fertilized, it goes from only 4 cells to a cute and cuddly puppy in only 9 weeks. How does that seem like such a short time, yet these last 9 weeks have seemed like such a long time? Once again, I've lost my train of thought. I believe I was about to say, directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim, joining us through what we hope is a much cleaner remote device. Hello, Jim.
Hey!
So, with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on!
Well, this week, we're talking streaming, but not from the usual places. We talk the lists, update, film genre faves for foreign language film, open rage, rage or dare, and then finite, acabada, terminado, shuyo. You get the idea.
I do.
But before we start, I want to thank all the Ragers who are listening from around the world. We want to thank every listener and hope that you comment on social media and streaming services to help us make our show as fun for you as it is for us to do. Hey, I'm a poet.
Nice.
Here's a quick list of the places now listening to us around the world. In Canada, where we are here in the fabulous city of Calgary, in the fantastic province of Alberta. We have Ontario, Saskatchewan, BC. And again, like I mentioned, most of our listeners are from Alberta. In the U.S., we have New Jersey, D.C., Florida, Michigan, and others. Countries outside of North America, we have Bangladesh, Ireland, Philippines. And finally, our most downloads outside of North America come from us from the lovely country/continent, Australia. Well, throw some shit on Barbie. Think Team America here, people. Well, I'll be damned. Thanks to all you ragers. And apparently, you all love the rage. So let's listen to some streaming.
Nice.
Streaming. Motherfucking streaming. I really want to sing about this streaming. Bryce. Man. Oh, this week. Bryce, what happened, buddy?
What happened indeed?
That's a loaded question.
It really is. A whole lot of stuff happened. Were you talking about anything in particular?
Maybe streaming.
All right. So, things for streaming this week were a little lean. We were dangerously close to having to watch a David Spade movie.
Oh my God.
But thank goodness for the Calgary International Film Festival coming to the rescue with their SIF at Home series.
Yes.
They offered up 2 documentaries, which we will be reviewing. All the Wild Horses and Buddy, both available through SIF's website, which apparently is no longer calgaryfilm.com. But they now have they have a brand new address. sifcalgary.ca, which seems a little redundant. SIF stands for Calgary International Film Festival, so essentially their new address is Calgary International Film Festival, Calgary. So, Calgary twice.
Why not? Twice as nice for half the price.
I don't know. That's kind of weird.
I don't know. Maybe there's a SIF Edmonton or SIF California. I don't know.
There's not.
Oh.
Anyhow, both docs we will be reviewing are both available at sifcalgary.ca. That is CIFF Calgary.ca. Yeah. So, first we are going to review All the Wild Horses. And brace yourself, because I'm going to talk for a while, because I really liked it. Directed by Ivo Marlowe. Yeah, hush your mouth. This is about the Mongol Derby, a 600-plus mile horse race, which generally follows the route of that Genghis Khan
Genghis Khan!
created back in 1224 to deliver info throughout his empire. The terrain in Mongolia is especially challenging for the riders in this competition, not so much for the horses. They're used to the environment. it is amazing that in this modern incarnation of this race that only one horse has died, and it was later established that it was from a pre-existing condition. The riders, on the other hand, are way more likely to perish in this ultimate endurance race.
I thought they were all going to die.
It kind of looked like it at one point. Like they had all definitely suffered. The terrain they must tackle goes from high passes to green open valleys to wooded hills to river crossings, wetlands and floodplains to sandy dunes to rolling hills, back to dry riverbeds to grassland plains with no trees, all while experiencing extreme fluctuations in temperature. Wet and cold turns to hot and dry in an instant.
That was like the longest sentence ever written.
And I said it in one breath. And by the way, they're doing all this while riding wild horses that they have never ridden before.
I know.
Which is kind of crazy.
Some of them had never been ridden.
I don't think so, yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. The race generally lasts about 10 days, where the riders have to get to about 25 to 28 checkpoints throughout the race, where at every checkpoint they have to switch to a brand new horse. This way the horses are protected, as they never travel more than 25 miles. Also at every checkpoint, the horse's heart rate is checked, and if it's too high or if it does not get back to normal within a half hour, there are severe time penalties for the rider. Once again, this is to protect the horses from being pushed beyond their limits. The horse's health is of utmost importance in this race. Usually the race consists of around 40 riders. That's a big race. The filmmakers focus on about 10 of the riders, all from different backgrounds and all interesting in their own way. I love the horse whisperer from South Africa. I was sort of rooting for him through the whole thing.
Yeah, he was great.
Yep, I really enjoyed this film. I felt the filmmakers really showed us kind of the roller coaster of emotions the competitors endured. I felt like I was right in the race with them. I give this movie a mondo. What do you think, Jim?
Well, I like this movie. I thought it was good. I think the premise of it was pretty surprising. Like, I originally, when you said, "Hey, you want to watch this is my best impression of Bryce. Hey, you want to watch a story about horses?" I was like, "No, I'm not fucking horses."
That is a perfect impression of me. That's exactly what I sound like.
Sometimes, yeah, that's what I hear in my ears anyway. And I was like, I don't want to watch horses.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going inside my head. So no, I did not want to watch a movie about horses running around and being wild. I was like, no, that sounds like something not fun at all.
I bet you're glad you did, though.
I'm glad I did. I'm glad you twisted my arm a bit to see this movie because, this is a super mondo for me. I want everybody, any listeners now, if you're actually, driving your car, pull over, be safe when you're doing this. But I want you to close your eyes and imagine you're seeing Shaun of the Dead. Because the one scene from one of the main competitors, in fact, she was the leader pretty much for the whole movie.
Well, for a lot of the movie.
Yeah, she was pretty much leading. She was
had
kicking
an insurmountable lead
until she got she's off wandering in the desert. She was like crazed and like so sunburnt. She looked like a lobster, and then she just like leans over and pukes all everywhere. But the funniest part was, so they have, like in movies are supposed to bring in all the suspense. So there's a scene in the movie where all of the suspense is happening because, oh my God, something's happened to her. And there's just like, bump, 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 and then all of a sudden it's like, blah! And she pukes everywhere.
It was awesome.
It was just like the scene from Shaun of the Dead where they're doing the dabba-da-dabba-da-dabba-da-dabba-da-dabba.
Yes.
It was so funny.
So much puke,
and she just like nonstop. And finally, I think she puked herself dry.
She puked herself out of the competition. Actually,
yeah. I was like, "Hey, how did you get knocked out of the competition?" I just puked myself out.
It happens.
So I'm a leader, but yeah, the camaraderie of the riders. The way that you really felt each one of them. I know that some of them didn't get as much glory as the other ones, but that team of four, the two men and the two women.
And they were totally looking out for each other. I mean, what came first was everybody's safety. And if someone went down, it doesn't matter what your position was in the race. You helped that guy out. You did what you had to do. And a lot of stuff happened in this race. Really worth worth taking the journey for sure.
And the dude from Africa, man, the horse whisperer.
Oh, he was so awesome.
He was so awesome.
Well, it got to the end. He's actually in contention, and he's more worried about showing these guys that he can get on this horse
that no one
can get on. He's like, no, give me a few minutes with
I'm the horse whisperer.
I'm the horse whisperer. I can totally do this.
And he did.
And he totally did. But, he's
to his own loss.
Exactly. He's in this race. So, instead of possibly being able to win it, he came in 5th.
Yeah. But, that's the thing with these type of huge... I don't know. It's obviously a different culture than what you would normally see from a sporting event because you've got, supreme competitors like the lady who was at the front, Devin, I think.
She was
right?
uber competitive.
Yeah, too much that she wasn't drinking enough and not properly, hydrating herself or whatever. And yet these other people were like, they're in for the joy of traveling across Mongolia in this race. So it was a mondo
all
for me. All
different walks of life and all different desires and all different goals. It was just really interesting characters too.
Yeah, it was good. So everyone out there thinking the same thing as me is, I don't want to watch motherfucking talk about horses.
So worth it.
So worth it. Yeah, agreed.
All right. So from a mondo, where are we going next?
Well, we're stepping away from Sif here for a minute. Or Kiff, or
about
whatever.
As far away from it as you can step,
as you
really.
Could possibly step. So
there's no way they were programming this one.
No, I could never see. No, I'm just trying to imagine
just
that. No. So this was Vin Diesel at his absolute most annoying. Half the time, he was like talking with marbles in the mouth, and the other half he was talking about. I had to actually put the subtitles on. I was watching most of it because as I'm watching, I'm like, I have no fucking clue what he's saying. So it was like, oh, I'm sorry. What's your dialogue? Why are they hiring this guy? He's not even likable. Like everything in this movie was like annoying as fuck. I was just like, can someone please kill him? And then they would kill him and he would come back. And I'm like, why does he keep coming back? Just someone unplug him or whatever he had to do. Take the nanobots out of his ass. Whatever needed to happen to get this guy to stop coming back. He's not likable in any way, shape, or form. I can't understand why this guy's a superhero. And the action was good. I liked the action. I liked the CGI, and I thought was really well done. Like there's a scene where they're kind of in a tunnel or whatever, and it felt like kind of like 28 Days Later when they're in the tunnel, and except for the zombies coming, it's Vin Diesel's coming.
Vin Diesel's coming,
and there was like 50 of them and one of him.
Yeah.
I just took everybody out. So there was some good action. There was some good, but overall the movie was predictable. And it was just another non-essential needed superhero movie, really.
Yeah, this movie was dumb. But I suppose it was harmless enough, to be honest. It's been about 3 days since I saw it, and I can barely remember it.
Yeah, that's normally a rage or a meh for you, isn't it?
That's usually a meh. So on that note, normally this type of lackluster fare would have me giving a rating of...
No.
Wrong button.
That's the one.
That's the button. It would be given a meh in normal circumstances. However, one thing did get to me. What on earth is Guy Pearce doing in this film?
Yeah, Guy Pearce, shame on you.
Why would he involve himself with this uninspired movie? Guy Pearce is a really good actor. Come on, Guy. You're better than this.
You're not making our list, buddy.
Yeah, so because Guy Pearce took the role of Dr. Emil Harding, this movie goes from a meh to a rage. It's your fault that this is a rage, Mr. Pearce, and that is something he will have to live with for the rest of his life. Please.
Could potentially get him off our list.
It could, yeah. Please
for at least 8 movies.
Please choose better roles from now on, man. All right, from that steaming pile,
a poop,
to something a little better. Buddy. Buddy's from 2018 is directed by Hedy Honigman and is also available to stream at sifcalgary.ca. It's a nice little documentary. So basically, this doc is about service dogs and the fact that they are indispensable to their owners. We got to know a series of people and their dogs, and we were shown the impact of these relationships, and the impact that it had on their lives. From a lady with a limited range of motion, to an autistic child, to a war vet with post-traumatic stress disorder, to a blind lady. We were shown that no matter what the situation, these special intuitive creatures are up to the task, and man, do they take their job seriously. We're shown the undeniable bond between human and dog, and the deep trust that exists. I really liked this movie. Mondo, what do you say, Jim?
I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. The stories, the character development for each one of the animals and their human friend, is what I'll say. They put it together really well. I think I really like the fact that they showed them in their everyday life. Sometimes these stories don't. They just break down all the exciting things. Some of it was a little too boring. Because of that, I found they're just
boring.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of walking in it. So for me, it was boring. For you, it was like pure joy.
It was bliss.
Yeah. So I mean,
you're bound to get that with a dog movie.
Yeah,
dogs tend to get walked.
They do get walked, and then they're pooping. They also showed that. It was exciting. I liked the pooping scenes.
Yeah, the pooping scenes were good.
But actually, the scene I liked the best was when they went to that the metal concert.
Yeah.
With the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
That was
with Twisted Sister.
Twisted Sister
playing in the background.
And they took it. They didn't take it. They did take it.
I thought they weren't going to take it.
But they did. They took it. So, yeah, I mean, I like this movie. I can't give it a Mondo, and the reason I can't go all the way to Mondo on this is that I've seen enough of these type of shows where they have the animals that are super animals. I thought the director did do a pretty good job, so I think everybody should see this movie, but I think that I've seen some other ones that are done like this that I liked better, that I think they just got more out of it. So, yeah, still a good movie. It's worth checking out, but for me it was meh.
Mondo.
All right, well, I think that's it for streaming. There's nothing else.
What does that music mean?
That means last week on the lists, Bryce put forward Jon Bernthal for Undoubted, which meant...
I think that's Bernthal.
Whatever.
You're putting
too many uns.
Too many syllables, man.
Bernthal, thank you. There we go. Which meant that I had to watch Widows and Shot Caller to be able to be the decider.
It's all on you, buddy.
And I reminded Bryce that we have Robert Rodriguez still pending because he hadn't seen some of those movies.
True story.
So did he end up watching Shark Boy and Lava Girl? Will the terrible acting of Taylor Lautner make him rage? Or will Rodriguez be able to pull it out and make the list? Let's see what happened and what happens next. Bryce, why don't you tell me about Robert Rodriguez first?
Well, tactfully, I had two movies that I could watch, and I decided, well, why don't I watch the latest one? That way, if it's really bad, I don't have to watch the other one. So I didn't see the Shark Boy, Lava Girl thing because I didn't have to watch it.
What?
Because I watched, I don't even remember what it's called.
Spy Kids 4?
4D.
For 4 times delicious?
Yes. So let me just say, you are such a dick for making me watch this, Jim.
Yes, I am.
I feel as though you got me with 2 Dare movies, as this was worse than your Dare from last week, which we will touch upon in a later segment.
No, it was not.
Robert Rodriguez has no chance of being Undoubted. He's going to make these kids' movies. They're just total garbage. I am not sure what age group this is for. I'm talking about Spy Kids 4D, all the time in the world.
So much time.
Which was a good name for it because it seemed to take all the time in the world to watch it. And it definitely was not for anyone with an intellect over the age of 3. But it was way too violent for that age, so I have no idea who this was intended for.
Maybe people who are like emotionally damaged.
You figure?
Maybe.
Well, there was lots of potty humor and a ton of bad special effects. This keeps Mr. Rodriguez off the Undoubted list for the foreseeable future. I cannot believe I watched the whole thing. Nicely played, Jim. You got me. You are such a dick.
I am. And then I ate the bowl.
Yes. All right. You've kept me in suspense long enough. What's the verdict on Jon Bernthal?
Wait, I just kind of want to reminisce here for a minute. Let's not try and jump to Jon right away.
Okay.
Let's just go back to the fact that this was probably one of the best pranks ever pulled in Rage or Dare history. The fact That because Robert Rodriguez has made some great films. It's probably his last 5 have been amazing. They've been Mondos.
Yeah.
And then you just like, I'd never even heard of this movie. And there was a reason why.
Well, I never have heard of Spy Kids. I didn't realize he had like 4 Spy Kids movies.
That should almost, you mean that in
Which,
a row.
by the way, I saw Spy Kids, and it sucked too, but not like this.
Super
like,
sucked.
this was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I can't believe how bad the special effects were. It's like, what?
I wanted to double down on it. I figured if I brought him forward now, that I get 2 rages from you in 1 week.
I'm just glad that I didn't watch Shark
Boy and Lava Girl first. Well, you would have got to see Taylor Lautner before he became big. And then disappeared.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me tell you about Windows and Shot Caller.
Yes.
So, Windows, loved it. It's Mondo.
Cool.
I think Viola Davis.
Yeah, she's in it.
He's in our Mesmerized list, is she not?
She's also Mondo, and yes, she is in our Mesmerized list.
And I don't know, we have to do a bit more digging on her. What does she... Oh, she's made some Marvel shit, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's been in some bad stuff.
Yeah.
I really wanted her on the list, but it just can't happen yet.
She keeps picking some... Yeah.
It's not over. She's
still
got
alive.
a lot of... She's alive. She's
alive.
making movies. She's making good movies.
And she's freaking mesmerizing. Let's
so mesmerizing.
Everything she's in, she's just brilliant. So yeah, that was good. It almost dropped to a mat at points because Liam Neeson was in it, and I used to love Liam Neeson. Like
there was a time
when Liam Neeson was Undoubted, and then he started doing stupid movies that had the same plot over. Taken, the whole Taken series made me rage.
It wasn't just Taken. I mean, every movie.
Taken 1 was good. Taken 2 was
silly
bad.
revenge
And
movies.
Taken 3 was probably the worst movie he's ever even watched, let alone been in.
Fell into kind of the Charlie Bronson sort of make the same thing over and over
yeah.
again.
It's like, wait.
What Death Wish 9 or whatever. How many Death Wishes did he make?
I don't know. I heard a rumor.
Lot.
I've heard, I don't know. Him coming back at the end was no surprise, by the way. So, spoiler, everybody. But overall, the movie was well crafted, well written. The action was great, and our little buddy we're putting up is Undoubted, who was in it for maybe 1.5 minutes in the entire movie.
He's so good.
He's like, thank God he hitched himself to that wagon.
That's what he does. He hitches himself to good movies.
Yeah, to good wagons. And I fell in love with him actually on Walking Dead. Because I used to be a huge Walking Dead fan.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was on Walking Dead.
Yeah, he was in the first season. He was the bad guy who was doing everybody's wives while they were supposedly half dead. His best friend's wife, man.
Wow. That's not cool.
He plays a bad guy.
Yeah.
Almost as bad as a zombie. And then he became a zombie. So it was a Mondo. And Shot Caller.
We're halfway there?
Yeah, this almost got to Mondo.
As long as this is a man, I think he's in.
It did get a meh. He's in.
Nice.
It almost made it to Mondo because I actually really liked a lot of the actors in it.
Yeah.
In fact, he was probably the weakest actor in this role that he played. But it was a solid movie. The prison guy from Game of Thrones, all grimy and gritty, tattooed up. It was good, yeah.
Once again, you're talking about some television show I know nothing about.
You never heard. I know, it's hard to believe that you've never heard of the Game
What's The Walking Dead?
It's a book too, right?
I know.
Game of Thrones? You've heard of books too, right?
Thought it was like a board game.
It is a board game too.
Is it? There you go.
It's probably a comic and it's a lunchbox and a whole bunch of stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so we got
commercialism.
We got one and not another. Now, you got anybody else you want to throw into the mix for this week?
Well,
is this a surprise? Are we going to bring another fantastic Asian director, actor, actress from Beyond the Graves? What?
No. This time we're going to go with someone who's, still making stuff.
What?
Although it's actually been a while since he's made anything, but I believe he's got something in the works. But I am nominating Mr. Paul Thomas Anderson, the director, for Undoubted. Let's go backwards from most recent to oldest movie, and I think you will agree that this guy will be Undoubted.
I'll be the decider.
Yes, you will, because we got to agree, or he don't go on the list. Phantom Thread 2017 was a Mondo.
And I will agree, that was a Mondo.
Cool. Junun from 2015. This is the one that's going to take some people by surprise.
Jun what?
Exactly. They're going to go, well, I've never heard of that. It's spelled Junun if you
pronounce Junun?
Junun, I believe. 2015. It's a documentary about the making of the album Junun by Israeli composer Shai Ben-Zur and Radiohead guitarist Johnny Greenwood.
What?
Exactly. With the Indian ensemble band, the Rajasthan Express. This was a super mondo. If you get a chance to watch it, please do. The music's tremendous. Got little interviews in between. I just think anybody that watches it, if you want to feel some joy and some really good music, it's just really, really fun to watch.
Now, I have not seen this, so I am going to have to see this, obviously. I have a feeling I'm going to like it because, all right, we've got Radiohead involved, so...
Yep.
Or parts of Radiohead.
Parts of Radiohead. It's actually their producer, too, is involved. He's actually recording it.
It's double Radiohead.
Yeah, so
it's... I have a feeling it's going to, but obviously we can't put them on until...
Just for the music. It's good.
Yep.
It can't be worse than a meh, because if you don't like this music, you're an idiot.
That's true. Sometimes I am, though.
Fair enough. Then we've got Inherent Vice from
Mondo,
2014.
Super Mondo.
Absolute Mondo. The Master from 2012. Mondo.
Yep, also Mondo.
There Will Be Blood from
Super duper bloody Mondo.
It sure was.
Dad-hating Mondo.
Sure was. Punch Drunk Love from 2002.
Yeah.
Mondo. Magnolia from 1999. Mondo for me. Can't be worse than a meh.
It's not worse than a meh. I love Tom Cruise when he's
that performance
being all
so good.
cruisy and stuff.
I tell you, that movie. That's the movie I was in where more people walked out of it than I had ever experienced.
That were in the movie?
No, they were in the movie theater. I was crazy when Tom Cruise was doing on his profanity-laden little diatribe there.
Yeah,
there was about 9 couples in the movie. About 18 people left. They were just filing out of there, and I was like, "Why are you leaving? This is so good."
It's the best part, fuckers.
I tell you, I don't even like the blue language, and I'm loving this.
Yeah, super blue.
So beyond that, 8 back is Boogie Nights, 1997.
Mondo.
Absolute Mondo. And then even if
Nothing
you go
like a strap-on.
Even if you go 9 back to Hard 8.
Oh, that's also a Mondo.
1996, that's also a Mondo as well. I mean, that made my best dramas of all time. I think it was like 9 or 10.
What? Hard 8?
Yeah.
It is good.
It is. It's so good.
Super good.
Yeah, it's got a little real young John C. Reilly in it.
I know, right?
Gwyneth Paltrow going on.
He's a little baby. Little John. He's a baby.
That is all 9 of his films, and they are all Mondo, according to me. You might have a man there, but...
Well, I'm going to have to see Junun.
Yep.
And give you my... So he's on base, as we like to say in the Rage crew. He's on base, but sounds like he's a shoo-in.
Cool.
Well, I've got...
You got something?
Yeah, don't you run from me. Don't you run from me.
I was about to go to the next segment.
No, you don't run from me.
All right, what do you got for me?
I have something for
Don't disappoint
Mesmerized.
me.
I'm not going to make you rage. I'm going to give you 2 Mesmerized. Now,
lay it on me.
Number 1 is a man. I think he's a man. Robert Duvall.
I'm pretty sure he's a man.
Does he identify as a man?
Yeah.
Then he's a man. I think he's mesmerizing. What do you think?
I don't know why I made that sound, because absolutely he's mesmerizing.
Yeah, think Apocalypse Now on the beach.
To be honest, for some reason, every time he comes up, I'm always wrestling Ernest Hemingway. He was so good in that.
Oh, he's
him and Richard Harris. Oh my goodness.
I don't know why he's so good.
Yeah.
But he's one that we could talk about for Undoubted. I don't know if he's made some bad shit lately.
I think he has, but you know what? That's something I'll definitely look into.
Put in a highlight. Yeah. And my number 2. Yes. And I don't mean because she's poo. It's Allison Janney.
Allison Janney.
Who is fabulous.
Yeah,
and everything.
She's pretty awesome.
I did actually blast through her movies, though. So she's made a couple.
She's made some
crap-tastics. So, actually, not even tastic. They're just crap.
Yeah, she's made some bad stuff.
So she can't be Undoubted, but she's
but
definitely mesmerizing.
She's mesmerizing, and she's made some real good stuff, too.
All right. Well, we've got 3 new additions this week. That's great.
Wow.
And 1 on base. On deck.
3 new additions?
Yeah, we got Allison Janney for Mesmerized. We got Robert Duvall for Mesmerized, and we got Jon that we're putting him on for Undoubted.
Oh yeah, Jon. How could I forget that?
Because I can't pronounce his name.
Jon
It's made you forget.
Bernthal.
Bernthal. Know what I'm saying?
Nice. Well, that was a productive week for
Very productive week.
That's a lot of names we're adding.
So, hey, people out there, by the way, who are listening to this,
if you got an idea,
give us the challenge. We and if you don't know, check out our website, which has the rules for all of our lists. We got the Undoubted, we've got the Doubted, and we've got the Mesmerized list. So, if you've got a person you think we should add to the list, throw it out there. Let us know. We'll judge it and tell you if you're stupid or crazy or fucked in the head, or if you're right on.
we'll let you know. And, we are the authority.
That's right, at least as far as we're concerned. All right. Well, you know what that means? We got to break down some film genre favorites. This time,
what are we doing?
Foreign language films.
So if they don't speak English.
Or at least mostly not speak English. Mostly.
Sounds like you might be cheating a little.
I might have a little cheat, but it was dubbed, so you'll find out when we get there.
All right.
We'll get there. Now, I put a huge list together because this was the toughest. This was
Nice.
This was the toughest list for me because I watched so many foreign films. This was so hard. This is harder than drama. I know. You watch a lot of dramas. I mean, you watch a lot of foreign films.
It's not that I watch a lot of dramas. It's just that everything's a drama. So
Well, you're a drama.
Sometimes.
But yeah, so this was really tough for me, and I tried to give a good. I mean, I could have stuck with one director and done my whole list to one director, but I didn't do that. I wanted to spread my love around.
Cool.
All around. So number 10 on my honorable mentions, and I'm going to blast through these as quick as possible.
Right on.
The Vanishing from 1988, or Spoorloos was the original title. I was lucky enough to see this in theaters when it came out. This Netherlands serial killer film started a great international craze of serial killer films well before Hannibal was even a wet dream in his daddy's diaper. This movie was fantastic, and it spawned, again, we've talked about this in the podcast in the past, another American remake of it, which was terrible and totally fucked up the ending. But this one is the best ending and one of the best movies of all time.
Cool.
Number 9, honorable mentions. Amour from 2012. Who thought dying could be so beautiful? It's from France and Austria co-production.
Yep.
The Mermaid, 2016. Funny, cute, and Chinese. This is a film for everybody.
Yeah, I was so happy I got to see that in the theater.
Yeah, me too. So good. Number 7, Rouge Sang from 2013, a.k.a. The Storm Within. This is a French-Canadian horror period piece. Was lucky enough to spend an entire evening drinking with the director on this film a few years ago at SIFF screening. Great film, great film. Even though it's a period piece. So there.
Yeah, that was the one with that ending that was pretty shocking.
One of the
stuff.
best endings ever in any movie.
Yeah.
It's the one with the British coming in and such a
I love that movie.
Yeah.
That movie was so good.
So good. So anybody out there, give some props to our buddies from Quebecois who make some pretty amazing films.
Sorry, for me, just mention the name of that one again.
Rouge Sang, Rouges, new word, S-A-N-G, or S-A-N-G, yes. Also, you could search The Storm Within.
The Storm Within. Okay, I'm gonna watch that one again.
You're gonna watch it and love it. And number 6, honorable mentions, is Beanpole or Dilda.
So good.
From 2019. This was my favorite film so far of this year. So there's nothing I've seen that's better than this year.
I've seen one.
Yeah, but you're wrong because this one's better.
Well, you haven't seen it, so you can't really say that, Jim.
Oh, that's right. I haven't seen it. That's true. I haven't. This is a Russian drama, is a masterpiece, and scenes still in it, still with me. Like and it's also now available on iTunes, so you can all rent it. It's called Beanpole.
Yeah, there are some scenes in that will stay with you.
And this, remind me, was this a SIFF film or was this Cinematech?
This was Sif.
All right. Well, Sif, you're just bringing us the joy all the time, aren't you?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
This is all Sif all the time episode. Number 5, honorable mentions, El Mariachi from 1992. Robert Rodriguez's first film. Yes, we've already talked about him, but this needs to be recognized again. This is on 2 of my lists, and that's from Mexico.
Nice.
Number 4, Starbuck, 2011. French-Canadian, another Quebecois film, and I think the final Quebecois film on my lists. So fun and funny. A premise and story so good that Hollywood also tried to do a remake of it.
Yeah, Vince
and
Vaughn.
Totally fucked it up like they normally do.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So even again, this is a little bit of a cheat. It's not necessarily my country's foreign language because it is our second language, but it's foreign to me because I don't speak en français.
You are such a cheater.
Cheater. Number 3, Seventh Seal. This has also been on another one of my lists. 1957's Ingmar Bergman, Say No More. It's
Cool.
from Sweden.
It's good.
Number 2, Ron from 1985. Akira Kurosawa's best visual epic. So much beauty and so much rage. It's from Japan.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love lots and lots of rage?
Nice.
Number 1 on my honorable mention, which I have to say I had to rewatch this on the weekend because originally I thought it was going to be my number 1 of all time. But
Wait, so it went from your number 1 of all time to number 11.
to number 11, and that's Life is Beautiful, 1997's Roberto Benigni's Oscar-winning masterpiece. This movie has everything you could want from any film ever done anywhere. It will make you laugh, cry, hate, love. I love Benigni, and I just, even watching it on the weekend, I love him. I just found after watching it the second time, the surprises aren't there. So the whole thing he did with his kid kind of took it away from me. It's still an amazing film, and if no one's ever seen this, they have to see this movie.
Oh, it's worth watching.
But it couldn't make
good.
my top 10. It got bumped out by quite a few more brilliant films. And the 10.
Yes.
The 10 biggins. Number 10, The Gods Must Be Crazy. And here's another bit of a cheat because
There's a lot of English in that.
there's a lot of English, but it wasn't filmed that way. It was filmed in Afrikaans. So I've only seen the dubbed version, which actually is the funnier version, I'm sure.
It's kitschy.
I normally wouldn't say dubbed movies should be better than one that's actually the original language, but this one made it so funny because they were so bad about it. So think Woody Allen meets Laurel and Hardy meets South Africa. Although, like I said, most of it's in English, there is some Afrikaans actually spoken in it, and it's from South Africa to Botswana. Number 9, Elle from 2016, film by my buddy, Paul Verhoeven. This is, in my opinion, the best character ever developed in any movie ever made. The mix of Verhoeven and Isabelle Huppert were a match made in heaven. Or maybe hell. If you know her character, if you have seen this movie, you'll know.
By the way, why isn't she on the Mesmerized list?
Because she was in that terrible movie that came at SIFF last year, remember? That we went and saw?
Mesmerized, not Undoubted.
Oh, yeah, she would be mesmerized. Well, bring that up next week
Maybe I will.
when it's the right time in the segment.
Sorry about that.
All right, number 8 is Wreck from 2007.
Awesome.
Start of one of the best trilogies ever created from any genre or any country. One half of this direction team, Paco Plaza, continues to make every film I've seen of his better and better. He moves forward. Spanish Zombies, yes please. I'll take 3 helpings. Wreck 1, 2, and 3, and it's from Spain.
It is.
Number 7, Like Father, Like Son. This 2013 is one of Hirokazu Korida's films that are part of his Family Values trilogy series, which also includes I Wish and After the Storm. I love this Japanese director and find no other director alive today captures deep, impactful family dramas better than him. It's from Japan, and everything about this guy I love.
Cool.
He could be one that we could also add to Undoubted, potentially.
We should look into it.
We will. The Audition from 1999. Takashi Miike at his screenwriting and directorial maniacal best. You know shit is going to happen, and he strings us along so well. But But when the end comes, you almost can't believe what happens. I think the line, goody, 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 is where the band Die Antwoord got some of their lyrics from.
Nice.
Bring the slow burning creep to a delicious, messy joygasm for Japanese film. Delicious.
Nice.
Number 5, and I'm sure this isn't a surprise to you or anybody else, but number 5 happens to be Train to Busan.
Train to Busan, what a shock. It's in your top 10.
I know. That may even make my top 10 for all movies of all time.
There you are.
2016 Korean zombies who run like motherfucking maniacs and team up to eat their fill. One of the best matchups of cute kids who are smart mixed with adults, and they didn't make me want to punch their cute little faces in. That happens most times, as you know. Cute kids trying to be smart make me want to punch them in the face.
Yeah.
And this is from Korea. And the sequel, Peninsula, is coming out. Hopefully, we see it in the theaters this summer, spring, winter, other spring, other summer.
Someday.
Someday. It's my dream in life. Number 4. And we're going to be talking about this next week even more. We're breaking it down with our buddy George from the best little horror house in Philly. Number 4 is Let the Right One In, 2008. Swedish vampire brilliance. You can't beat cute kids that are really old that are vampires.
Yes.
And it's from Sweden.
So good.
Number 3, Pan's Labyrinth from 2006. Guillermo del Toro. Not his first film, but his first time using his native tongue. Because before that, he'd made a couple of English-speaking films. So, wow, this film blew my mind from the first moment I saw it. Spanish-Mexico co-production. Number 2, Tai Guk Gi from 2004. The Brotherhood of War.
Yeah, that's the one that you've been bugging me to watch.
I know you hate war movies, but this one you could not hate. You could not hate.
All right, tell me about it one more time.
My favorite war movie ever made. Director Ji Kyu Kang at his finest. This was one of the first Korean war films I've ever saw, and it made me fall in love with that whole subgenre of Korean film. And Korean films, for people who've only been really fallen in love with them from Parasite, have to realize there is some really, really great films coming out of Korea.
They've been pumping them out, man.
Yeah, like nonstop. It's almost like if it comes from Korea, I want to be it.
Anyways, you got me convinced. I'm going to check that one out.
Yeah.
I promise.
Rock on, brother. Number 1, and this quite possibly could be my favorite movie of all time.
All right, lay it on me.
We're doing horror next week, just so you know. No, this can't be number 1. I still have my favorite movie. This could be number 2, and not. Oh my God, I can't even say it. I've been rhyming too much this episode. 2001, Audrey Tautou is brilliant in this Jean-Pierre Jeunet film. I've seen this so many times over the years, and every time it just keeps getting better and better, and I keep seeing things I didn't miss. There's so many layers to this film. The character development, every single character. He's so brilliant at developing characters with just doing a splattering of seeing them. You know everything about every single one. My favorite line from the movie, I'm nobody's little weasel.
Nice.
So yeah, my favorite movie, favorite foreign language film of all time is Amélie.
Amélie. Cool. I kind of like your list, man. That's a good list.
I think so. I think it's a
real
pretty
good
damn
list.
good list.
Like, there's a few movies on there that I'm like, damn, why isn't that on my list?
Because you're slow.
But I am locked in on my list. And
all right,
here we go. So
hit me.
We are going to start with my honorable mentions. So let's start with Tokyo Gore Police from 2008.
Yes, please.
It is as good as the title would suggest. Japanese splatterfest.
Yum.
Now let's follow that up with The Machine Girl from 2008, another Japanese splatterfest.
Yum.
Wow, 2008 was a good year for some insane movies from Japan. Also, we're going to mention Wreck from 2007. Made your top 10? Got into my honorable mentions.
Pretty close.
Yep.
Pretty close.
It was so close. Spanish movie is the best found footage movie ever.
Can't disagree more.
Loved every frame of this Spanish masterpiece. Then we got House of Flying Daggers from 2004.
So pretty.
Yeah, it really was. It's
After
just
so much blood that you just poured on it.
Just a really pretty movie to let wash over you. Use of color, especially during some of the fight sequences, was impeccable. And then we've got Cold War from 2018. Brilliant, and I mean brilliant film from Pavel Pawlikowski. A breathtaking, beautiful yet heartbreaking love story set during the Cold War in the 50s. Now let's get on with the main event. 10 best foreign language films
Balinga!
of all time, according to the only one that matters, me. Number 10, Adam's Apples from 2005, a movie from Denmark about a neo-Nazi who is sentenced to community service at a church.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Mads Mikkelsen is tremendous as the priest Ivan. This is a really funny effort from director Anders Thomas Jensen. By the way, Anders Thomas Jensen has directed 4 movies, and they are all Mondo. You should check him out.
Agreed.
Number 9, this one will sound familiar. Audition from 1999. Takashi Miike. It's a classic. It's wonderful and disturbing, and you'll never forget it. Stunning visuals throughout. This story of a rather disturbed young woman. Number 8, Let the Right One In. 2008. Another familiar one. Swedish film from director Thomas Alfredson that rejuvenated the tired old vampire story for me. Every shot in this movie has a purpose. Such a great take on the genre.
So much red.
Indeed. Number 7, Sin Nombre from 2009. Beautiful film from Mexico about a Honduran girl who ends up traveling with a gangster as they are trying to cross the U.S. border. Tremendously shot with stunning scenery. Great movie. They spend a lot of time on top of a train in this one and just kind of going through the countryside. It's really good stuff. Number 6, Coming Home from 2014. Director Yimou Zhang in one of the most heartbreaking movies you'll ever see. Gong Li stars, and she has never been better. This movie literally had me choking back the tears. A story of a love lost and the desire to get it back. Number 5, Pity from 2018. This is as dark a comedy that has ever been made. This Greek film is the definition of a Greek tragedy. Almost didn't get that out.
Yeah. And
definition of a Greek tragedy.
Tragedy. You sounded sad because it was tragic.
It was really tragic. Yet, it's also rather hilarious. It is about a man who finds himself addicted to pity. The lengths that he goes to get said pity will astonish. Love, love, love this movie.
It's nice to see a Greek film on there. We don't see a lot of Greek films here for whatever reason.
It's so good. I actually did see this at Calgary International Film Festival, and I came out of that just blown away.
It was a good film.
This movie. Number 4, City of God from 2002. Set in the slums of Rio, this movie follows 2 kids who choose different paths. One wants to become a photographer, and the other falls in with a gang. The outcome is a compelling film that is as beautiful as it's thought-provoking. Wow, I'm having trouble speaking all the time. Yeah. Number 3, Vitalina Varela from 2019.
It was your favorite of this year.
It definitely is.
And yet, Beanpole's not even on your list.
It's crazy. I'm actually kind of... that is an oversight, I must admit.
Who would go? That's the tough list.
It is a tough.
Out.
I don't know that anybody could go. But yeah, no, love Beanpole. Anyways, Vitalina Varela, 2019, Pedro Costa's masterpiece is perhaps the most gorgeous film I have ever seen. Every static shot in this movie is like a painting. This is not a movie. It is a piece of art. Number 2, Embrace of the Serpent, 2015. This film from Colombia is about an Amazonian shaman and 2 scientists in a quest to find a sacred healing plant over the course of 40 years. The story, the visuals, the acting, what a great movie. And my number 1, Old Boy from 2003.
You love that movie.
I really do. The Undoubted Chan Wook Park's revenge movie. Absolutely jaw-dropping premise that is executed to perfection by one of the best filmmakers out there. I am rarely shocked these days, but as this story unraveled, I found myself in awe of the tale that was being presented. This is my favorite foreign language film of all time.
And it is also from Korea. What a surprise.
It's not much of a surprise these days,
No, man, not at all.
Crazy.
All right, well, great list, buddy.
Thank you.
Everything.
As was
Too
yours.
much joy. Bring me down.
It's that time.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Well, my rage is going to be pretty short this week. This is kind of a similar theme that we've had throughout the podcast, and that originally was kind of pissing on Marvel for being the only game in town. Obviously, we know DC's been doing some pretty cool stuff, the Joker and a couple other good stuff they've done lately. But, Marvel kind of owns this space. And so I said, hey, come on, other comic books. Give me something to see. So, what happens? Valiant Comics decide to put out our stinker pot for this week, Bloodshot. And I'm like, come on, guys. Could you not find a better movie to pull out of your list of fantastic superheroes than someone that's like, okay, wait a minute. Everybody's on to this Deadpool guy. Why don't we have a character that's kind of like Deadpool, but not as cool and not funny at all? And you can't understand a word he says. And he's annoying as fuck. So they put out Bloodshot.
Yes.
Not Deadpool, Bloodshot. If this isn't almost like a blatant ripoff, now I don't follow comics as much as I do films, but this was, hey, they kept shooting this guy, and then he kept coming back, and I'm kind of like,
yeah, that's a familiar premise.
Yeah, can not someone just kill him, unplug him, pull the fucking nanobites that are healing him out of his ass or whatever that. And there's so many gaps in this movie was just making me rage. And here I was like, come on, another comic book company, put out a movie. And they did.
Good.
And then they did. And I'm like, I don't want you to do that again. Stop it. And yet I still don't want Marvel to make... I'm so tired of comic books where everything is predictable and it's the same plot over and over, but with a different character so they can team up and... 20 movies so that half of them die and disappear and retire because they've been making them for 10 fucking years. So I don't know. I'm still planning to put the challenge out there. Come on. I know Image is supposed to be making... I've heard a rumor that Image is making a version of Invincible, which is probably one of the best comics that's ever been done. And it's written by Robert Kirkman, who's of Walking Dead fame. So if they can bring this to life, it's got to be good, man, because it's such a good comic. But that's it. I'm done. I don't know if I can watch another comic book movie unless it's made by...
you will.
DC. What do you got?
Okay.
Satan!
As Jim has touched upon in one of his past rages, he does not like when a documentary filmmaker...
No, I do not.
...tries to push his point of view on us...
No, I do not.
...in a one-sided way. On that note, real quickly, before I go on, thanks for getting me to watch that Bill Gates 3-part documentary series
you're very
on Netflix.
welcome.
I actually thought at one point the director was going to get out his pom-poms and do a cheer about how wonderful Bill Gates is.
Well, did you ever notice there was a lot of shots just showing him sort of from the waist up? Because the director had his dick in his mouth, I bet.
I believe that. I would believe that.
There was a lot of dick sucking from that director to him.
It really was. He did, of course, ask him the really tough questions like, do you think that your relentless drive is one of your weaknesses? Wow. What a hardball question.
Yeah.
And by the way, how can you be optimistic about the innovations proposed in the documentary when not even Bill Gates, a man with considerable resources, cannot even get them off the ground?
But he's not doing shit for free, man.
That was one depressing series, man.
No, it's joy. You're looking at it from your cold, dead heart again, like normally happens. You have to visit this vision that Bill Gates has now created something that no one else has done. Number one,
but nobody can afford it.
Bill Gates now, but it's coming. A toilet that you can fucking shit in, and then right after you take a shit, you drink the water that comes out of your shit. Like, how great is that? That's like the best invention ever been made anywhere.
Fantastic.
And he made nuclear power so that it's clean. Oh, I'm sorry. We've had all this nuclear waste that's sitting around. All he's got to do now is sprinkle some Bill Gates dust on it, and it turns to more nuclear power, and it's clean.
Of course, we have grids that handle electricity that absolutely can't handle what that's going to do. So you'd have to. It's not just.
It's coming. This is future, man. If you don't have Bill Gates doing these things, he's giving me hope for the future. What was the other big one he did? You just watched it. So there was toilet water. There was nuclear power. Oh, and he cured polio, or what is it?
No, he didn't cure polio.
He did. Didn't he get the last one out of Africa?
No, it was no.
Polio? Was it polio?
I thought it was polio.
It was a disease that he cured it. He got rid of it.
No, he didn't.
He did.
Go watch the documentary again. He didn't.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Right now.
And you'll be like super disappointed that he didn't actually do that.
He's going to do it.
Okay.
He almost did.
Anyways, what I'm really angry about is a documentary that I saw on the weekend that I absolutely refuse to name.
Don't say the name.
I'm not going to say the name.
Don't say it.
For fear that others may seek it out and watch it. Originally, we were going to review it on the podcast, but I just simply had no interest in having anyone watch this because I talked about it. All it did was promote hate through ridiculous theories based in zero fact. Now, all I am saying is, if you watch a documentary and the views seem to be skewed heavily in one direction, please take the time to research where and who the information came from. What can be gained from such information, and why is this information being presented to you in this way? You may find things being presented as fact are complete fabrications. We live in an age where the documentary is no longer documents as much as it presents a point of view. And to be honest, over the years, I have come to accept this somewhat. Michael Moore, Morgan Spurlock, and Al Gore skewing some of the facts to fit their narratives, while not exactly ethical, overall relatively harmless. But even in their cases, it's always good to do a little research if you want to get behind something and push. Just because it is presented under the banner documentary film does not necessarily mean it is fact. And if it is promoting an agenda of hate, then shame on the filmmaker. In summary, I just want to reiterate that it's good to question what you're being told. That is how we learn. And as corny as it may sound, knowledge is power. That is my rage for the week.
Fake news sucks.
Totes.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Last week on Rage or Dare, Bryce pulled from Jim's sweet, sweet bag the amazing J-Lo and Ben Affleck masterpiece, Gigli, from 2003. Let's check in on Bryce and see how he feels about this wonderful rom-com. Or did Gigli make him rage a giant chunk of Benifer out his rectum? Bryce, please tell me what you think about the fantastic film Gigli from 2003. Or not. Are you there? Did I lose you?
I'm here, Jim.
Papa, can you hear me? Papa, can you see me? Papa, Papa, where are you, Bryce? I know you're out there somewhere in the world in which we live. I don't know what's happening here. I'm calling remote, so I can't even see what he's doing, but apparently he's taking his clothes off, or I don't know. What are you doing on the other end of this line? Apparently, he's lost his jiggly notes.
Okay. Well, sir.
Tell me about how much rage you felt from watching Gigli.
You know what? It wasn't that bad.
What?
It really wasn't.
This movie is probably one of the worst movies ever made.
Okay, well, it had a few things going for it.
No, it had... Okay, let me hear what they are.
So the opening scene was, pretty good. We had, Ben Hufleck with a guy in a dryer. Mm-hmm. That's a good way to start a movie.
Yeah, but his acting. Was that a good way to start that movie?
Well, he wasn't at his tip-top best.
Keep going.
But it was still Ben Hufleck.
No, still rage.
So then you get into the movie a little bit. And you know what you get? You get some Christopher Walken. He just appears out of nowhere. It's great. He walks into Gigli's apartment. And he eats up the scenery. That's awesome.
Good. That's good.
And he's in there for about 3 minutes.
Yeah. 3 minutes does not make a movie.
And then he leaves. And then we never see him again. And then we get a little Al Pacino later in the movie.
Thank God. Al Pacino.
Al Pacino doing his very best impression of himself. And I'm telling you, man, he nailed it.
I should hope so. He gets paid for it.
So in this scene, we get some blood, we get some humor, we get brains splattered all over the place.
That's always good.
It's a fantastic scene.
Yeah. How many minutes was that?
That was probably about 4 or 5.
So far you got 7 minutes
I'd say
of
8.
good 8 minutes of good film. And how long was the movie? I don't know. An hour and a half?
It was actually over 2 hours.
Okay, so oh my God, 2 hours of pain and suffering. Okay,
No, 8 minutes of really good.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
So, I think that makes it a meh.
No, dude, it doesn't. This is a guy.
Okay, but
you got Ben Affleck up your ass.
You know what? There were some problems with the film. I mean, yes, the autistic kid wasn't really represented too well.
Nope. Almost racist,
it was
sexist, whatever. Peopleist, whatever.
Totally peopleist.
He's been peopled.
And the fact that, Jennifer Lopez, she's a lesbian in this.
Yeah.
And she ends up falling in love with Ben Hufleck.
Oh my God, the worst rom-com story ever.
Which just make no sense because the man's a total doofus in this.
Chasing Amy never actually...
No self-respecting lesbian was going to fall for this guy.
Mostly because of his bad acting.
Or any guy, because, she's a lesbian.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that, if you're a lesbian, you probably had a few problems with this movie.
I'm not a lesbian. I had lots of problems with this movie.
I am also not a lesbian, and that's why, it had enough good in it that it's a meh.
It had 8 minutes. We just counted 8 minutes out of over 2 hours.
Yeah, but those 8 minutes made me happy.
You are warped because of Ben Affleck. You've got this fucking fascination with Ben Affleck that he can do no wrong, and he is very wrong in a lot of things, and in particular this movie, which was a rage. It didn't get above 2.5 as a collective rating on IMDb. Which,
you know what?
You're giving him a pass
People
because
like to pile on Ben Affleck, and I'm not having it. Ugh. He went through this little phase where everybody hates Ben Affleck, but then he made Argo, and he made The Accountant. He made all these awesome movies. And he made Gigli.
Yeah.
Which is solid.
Which is a rage.
For 8 minutes. Which makes it meh.
You are broken inside. That's all I can say. All right, well, let's move on, because that's obviously a lie.
Whatevs.
So this week you got to pull something from your sweet bag for me to what do you got there, Buckaroo?
All right, I'm reaching into the bag as we speak.
Sweet bag.
And let's see what I come up with.
What succulent dish do you have to serve me today?
All right, we've got a movie from 2018, not that long ago.
Sounds fun.
And it's a comedy.
Oh, I like comedies.
Comedies are good.
Not really. Sort of.
Oh, who doesn't like to laugh?
I do.
Everybody likes to laugh.
Who doesn't? Clowns, they're the best.
All right, so the movie's called Night School, and it stars a Miss Tiffany Haddish, who I believe is on our Undoubted list.
What?
Maybe after you watch this, she'll come off of it.
Maybe it'll be a Mondo, and she'll come off the list.
It could happen.
It could. Well, if you could like Gigli, anything's
happen.
possible. Anything's possible if you give people. I want everybody to just go online and search the 100 worst movies of all times. Gigli will be on it. And my buddy Bryce just gave it a meh. I am broken. He is broken. And next week, you're going to get...
I will not stand for Ben Hufleck hating on this podcast.
There's so much hate for this movie. But Okay, I will Tiffany Haddish up a bit, and maybe we'll get our little girl Tiffany off our doubted list.
Yeah, good luck with that.
All right. Well, you know what that brings us to?
That brings us to the end, I believe.
It does bring us to the end. So first out, we're going to give a shout out to our buddy George from the Best Little Horror House in Philly, because we're going to be on with him next week a couple times. We're going to do a double whammy with those guys. So thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended Film Rage crew of Murray, currently on self-distancing. Leonard Conlon for his artistic vision and photography via Leonard Conlon Photography. Our cartoonist, artist, Vaughn. And listen to us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and visit our website at filmrageyyc.com. We are always wanting your feedback to make this raging blast for all listeners. So please comment often, and please make us rage. Please. Please. That's it for this week. Rage on.
Rage on.